All right, we're going to now shift to talking about area here, and hopefully you've had an opportunity to look at this warm-up set of problems and see if you can remember how to calculate some areas, and also some circumferences as well, or parts of circumferences. So let's see what we came up with here. So part A says find the area of the shaded portion of the circle. So notice we have half of the circle, and we know an area of a circle is pi times the radius squared, so pi r squared. So in this case, if we know that the radius is 8, pi 8 squared, pi times 8 squared, and then we have half of that circle, so I like to divide by 2 rather than multiply by a half. So that'd be 64 times pi, I'm leaving in terms of pi here, divided by 2, which would be 32 pi. So when we are getting an exact answer, we can leave it in terms of pi, which means that we don't multiply pi all the way through to get a decimal quite yet. But of course, we often like to see what that decimal is. So the answer here would be 32 pi square units. Remember, you have a square unit when you're talking about area. I don't think it said a specific length, so we'll just say generic units. And if you multiply 32 times pi, it's about 100.5 square units. So that's what we would get for the first problem. Second problem. Find the length of the highlighted portion of the circle's circumference. So remember, circumference is either 2 times pi times radius or pi times diameter. So you can think of 2 radii as a diameter, whichever one you think is easier to work with. I usually like to think of pi times diameter, so I usually just do the mental math. And so this is half of a diameter, or sorry, half of a circumference. So if we're doing the entire circumference, pi times diameter would be pi times 16. So I'd kind of do that math in my head, say, okay, well, two of those radii would be a 16 diameter, and then divided by 2 since it is half of the circumference. So 16 pi divided by 2 would be 8 pi. And this is a length, so this will be just plain old units. And if you do 8 times pi, that is approximately 25.1 units. So 8 pi would be the exact answer in terms of pi, but about 25.1. All right, next one, find the area of the shaded region. And now we have like 1/4 of the circle, right? 90 degrees would be 1/4 of the circle. So we can think of that as pi r squared divided by 4, 1/4. So 36 pi divided by 4 would be 9 pi, and this would be square units. And if we take 9 times pi, you should have gotten about 28.3 square units. And then the same thing with the circumference. If we do the circumference, pi times diameter, so again, diameter here would be 12, and we're doing 1/4 of it. So 12 pi divided by 4 would be 3 pi, 3 times pi units. So it's a length, and 3 times pi is a little bit over 9, right? About 9.4 if I did my calculations correctly here. So about 9.4 units. Okay, what about this region then? So 60 degrees of the circle. So 360 divided by 6 would be, 360 divided by 60 would be 6. So it's like 1/6 of the circle. So 1/6 of the circle area. So same thing on the last problems. So this would be 1/6 of the area. So pi times 12 squared to be the total area, pi r squared divided by 6. So that's 144 pi divided by 6, and 144 divided by 6 is exactly 24, so 24 pi square units. And then if you multiply that to get the approximate decimal, rounded to the 10th place, that would be about 75.4 square units.